Chrissy Teigen, A Very Sinking Narcissist, Part 10. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. If you haven't already availed yourself of the entertaining education that is parts 1 to 9 of these series, then what are you waiting for? Mosey on over and search for those amongst my many videos covering a vast range of topics appertaining to the narcissistic dynamic, and learn more about this narcissist's behaviour. You ought to know, of course, that Chrissy Teigen, the lady who isn't quite sure how to pronounce her surname, is a narcissist, and the evidence in support of that has been dissected in earlier parts of this series. She primarily engaged in conduct where, through malign hoovers, she was unpleasant, nasty, and rude to other individuals through Twitter. Twitter enabled her to assert control directly and also indirectly over those individuals by commenting about them to her many millions of followers. It enabled her to draw fuel, sometimes from the response of the primary victim, in other instances from the responses from those who supported her and those that denigrated her. Of course, she would invariably block people as a method of asserting control over her detractors when they issued her with challenge fuel. Repeatedly she engaged in this conduct, showing a systematic series of abusive behaviours towards people. I needn't go into the detail of what she wrote, it's well documented. She then, of course, was exposed, not as a narcissist, more generally, of course, although I did that, but the nastiness of her behaviour, her unpleasant activities were exposed through news articles and through cyberspace. This, of course, impacted upon her stock, her currency, notably with various lines being removed from certain retailers. This amounted to a threat to her control, and she scrambled to address this through a supposed apology, which I similarly have dissected and analysed in earlier parts. She, of course, has talked about the fact that she went into therapy, and some more therapy, and some even more therapy. What's the project? What's the outcome, rather, of all of this? Well, of course, an individual who might have erred by having a moment of madness or perhaps a period of a sustained external stressor which has impacted upon their emotional empathy, causing them to act out of character, has the behaviour identified to them that was errant, and they address it and they don't repeat it. They show humility in their response. They exhibit an understanding of their behaviours, and they either don't repeat it, or if it does happen, it doesn't happen for a very long time indeed. And of course, the other behaviours associated with being unpleasant and rude and nasty to other individuals wouldn't manifest either, because they're not intrinsic to that person. But where you're dealing with a narcissist, of course, as you know from my extensive work, it's all about control in the moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Yesterday is only used to reference it for the purpose of control now. Tomorrow is a future fake to assert control now. If you had acted in such a behaviour as a non-narcissist, you would more than likely have kept a very low profile for a very long time, retracted your horns, reflected on your behaviour, made amends. Of course, many of you wouldn't have gone anywhere near such behaviour in the first place, your emotional empathy keeping you from doing so. But even if you had made that mistake, thereafter, you would keep a low profile and you would not continue to make yourself prominent. You would live by the actions of the words that you have spoken, that you would take time to reflect, you would repair the damage, and you would, no doubt, out of a sense of shame and embarrassment, stay out of the public eye. Not, of course, a narcissist. And a series of news articles provide us with further insight into the behaviour of Chrissy Teigen, which gives you an added understanding of why she does what she does, and also aids your understanding of the narcissistic dynamic. We compartmentalise. Essentially, we operate in moments. So picture a series of ribbons hanging down, and each of those ribbons represents a moment. Ribbon 1, we must assert control, and once it's done, we're on to ribbon 2, then ribbon 3, 4, 5, ribbon 7,866,532nd, and so on and so forth. And those ribbons aren't connected unless they have to be connected, as I say, bringing up the past, or the revision of history, or future faking. But we operate in each moment. None more so than the lesser and mid-range narcissists. Greater and ultra, of course, we have a regard to what might happen next. So we plan ahead, we calculate. But the vast majority of narcissists are lesser and mid-range. And their narcissism doesn't have any concern with regard to collateral consequence. What it does is focus on control in the moment. And therefore, once that moment has gone, it's gone. It evaporates, it dissipates into the ether, and we move on to the next one. And that earlier moment is only relevant for the purposes of application to a current moment, so we resurrect it. But other than that, it's gone. And this compartmentalization and the operation of acting in the moment means that a narcissist can say at 9 a.m, I love you, you're the best thing since sliced bread, you're absolutely amazing. Then at 9:15 or even earlier, I hate you, I wish you'd never been born, I wish you were dead. And then at 9:30, I love you, you're the best thing since sliced bread, and not see anything wrong with those behaviours. Indeed, if you were to point out that there were those vacillations, the first point would be that the narcissist would deny them, would not accept that it happened. If you're able to provide credible evidence, they would deflect it, ameliorate it, euphemize it, dilute it in some shape or form. Oh, I was upset. You made me angry. Oh, I was tired. Whatever it might be. This compartmentalization is clear and it's evident. It is shown in every single narcissist with regard to the conduct that you witness. It is akin to pressing the reset button, that we have a huge row with you and then reappear half an hour and act as if nothing had mattered, as if nothing had happened, and you're perplexed. How can this person behave this way? You would feel upset still, reluctant to talk, keeping your distance. But the narcissist breathes in full of the joys of spring. Hey, how's it going? And you're thinking, sorry, do they not remember that half an hour ago we were at it, fighting, like cat and dog, going at it, hammer and tongs? No, because that was then and this is now. And unless you bring it up, which means that we then have to deal with that threat to control by either denying it or dealing with it by an alternative manipulation, it has gone. And this brazen behaviour, which often leaves you, if you're not aware that you're dealing with a narcissist, you're left thinking to yourself, the brass neck of this individual. Who the dickens behaves this way? I can't believe the front that is being exhibited. And of course, there's a person that's got plenty of front, by reason of her satellite dish face, and that's Chrissy Teigen. And we take a stroll over, first of all, to Mail Online. As always, the veracity of the news articles I leave for you to decide. I provide you with the analysis. And an article by Tracy Wright, published a few days ago, tells us Chrissy Teigen strikes a pose in vibrant striped robe while on family holiday in Italy amid cyberbullying scandal. So the waves of the cyberbullying scandal will still wash over matters. It's only a few weeks since it rose to prominence. Indeed, it was only last month. Matter of a few weeks ago, if that. And rather than stay out of the limelight, stay out of the way, because she can't, because her sense of entitlement drives her, her lack of accountability, her lack of emotional empathy, her need for fuel, and her need to assert control, of course, means that she pops up. And this means that she posts on her Instagram a picture of her wearing 2 parasols. Oh no, the parasols are behind her, although she looks like she's wearing one. And she's holding on to some pole. Are you about to pole dance for us, Chrissy Teigen? Is John the leg end going to enjoy you seeing swirling around, picking up various signals from outer space as you twirl around on the pole? First of all, Having bullied people on social media, she still deems it entirely appropriate for her to tell everybody about what she's up to on social media. No shame, no embarrassment, no emotional empathy. She puts it out there once again, the necessity of the assertion of control and, of course, the drawing of fuel by people's comments. Look at me, I'm enjoying a holiday. Look at me in my stripy robe. Look at me here in Italy. More about that shortly. Do I care about my victims? Of course I don't, because it's now all about me. That was in the past. And I'm going to put this all over my Instagram because my unaware narcissism is driving me to assert control, to try and draw fuel from you all. And indeed, as part of this, there is evidently some PR machinery, some PR chicanery going on, a la Harry's wife. And more of that later. Chrissy Teigen puts this out on her own social media as a part of the direct assertion of control over her Instagram followers. This also draws fuel. Furthermore, this material is also placed in various publications as part of the PR battle to assert control, to try and ameliorate the damage caused by her savage tweets. Further news articles demonstrate this, and we'll come to that in due course. The article tells us she's enjoying every moment abroad with the ones she loves the most. She's a narcissist, she's incapable of love because she has no emotional empathy, although she thinks she has that. And Chrissy Teigen caught the good light, well, she's bound to absorb a lot of it with that face, as she struck a pose wearing a vibrant striped robe for Instagram snaps shared on Thursday morning. The 35-year-old cookbook author looked effortlessly cool, overlooking San Catero while on family holiday on the Italian Riviera amid her cyberbullying scandal. So having trod wholesale over the lives of individuals, it's okay for her to up sticks. Now, of course, she's perfectly entitled to go on holiday. But of course, she's also, through a sense of entitlement, wants to tell you all, look at me, I'm okay, I'm on holiday, lapping up the sun, doing an impression of a parasol. Life's great. No emotional empathy for the victims shown there. Chrissy's electric teal and orange Rihanna and Nina robe, product placement, residual benefit, matched a few of the colourful umbrellas scattered on the hillside of the popular coastal retreat. Teigen added a few gold bracelets on her wrist to match a pair of hoop earrings and wore bright orange sandals. Yes, we can see that in the picture. We don't need you to tell us that. She credited celeb favourite Priscilla Valles for her honey blonde extensions, triangulation, which Irinel de Leon styled into beachy waves. The fuck? Her go-to makeup artist Nova Kaplan, triangulation, gave Teigen a dewy glow and let her flawless complexion shine. There we have credit to given to Priscilla Valles, crediting Irinel de Leon and Nova Kaplan. 3 instances of triangulation, but of course residual benefits because she'll have been promoting those individuals, no doubt benefiting in a freebie or a reduced cost as a consequence of their input with regard to her styling, etc. Of course, this demonstrates that this is all about the assertion of control through a PR piece, and indeed, you're then told where you can go and buy something similar if you want to look like an umbrella or parasol this summer. I'd suggest that you don't. The article continues. Chrissy attempted to right a few of her wrongs with an apology shared to Medium in June. Her first time speaking out since taking a social media hiatus. Not a particularly long hiatus, is it? After a host of bullying allegations came to light. Hi all. It has been a very humbling few weeks, she wrote. No, it's not. You think that you're humble, but you haven't the slightest idea as to what being humble is. I know I've been quiet. If only it had lasted longer. And Lord knows you don't want to hear about me. For once you've got something right. But I want you to know I've been sitting in a hole of deserved global punishment. The ultimate sit here and think about what you've done. Contradiction, you don't want to hear about me, but I'm going to tell you about myself anyway because it's a pity play designed to assert control over you and draw sympathy from you. She added, "Not a day, not a single moment has passed where I haven't felt the crushing weight of regret. No, you haven't. Your narcissism just makes you think that you're regretful for the things that I've said in the past. It's all part of the assertion of control." Teigen has been the target of backlash since her abusive tweets originally made in 2011 resurfaced online, including one that urged the then 16-year-old Courtney Stodden to kill themselves. Assertion of control, lack of emotional empathy, malign Hoover. Lindsay Lohan was also the subject of an insensitive post by Teigen, where a tweet from January 2011 read, "Lindsay adds a few more slits to her wrists when she sees Emma Stone." Assertion of control, lack of emotional empathy. Old tweets from 2013 have also resurfaced in which she described 9-year-old Oscar nominee Wallace as cocky and called Teen Mom star Farrah Abraham, then 21, a whore. Michael Costello accused Chrissy and her stylist Monica Rose of blacklisting him from the industry, which spawned his own suicidal ideations as the pair went out of their way to threaten people and brands, that if they were in any shape or form associated with me, they would not work with any of them. Cameroonian singer Denchia claimed that Chrissy had pushed her twice, assertion of control, physical assault, at the 2016 Grammy Awards after allegedly believing that the singer's assistants had recorded her on his phone. Again, narcissistic perspective, paranoia. She, of course, turns up without a thought for the victims, operating through a sense of entitlement, an absence of emotional empathy, and all about showing that she has compartmentalized. In her world, it's done, it's over, and she can get back to doing what she wants. She has no humility, there's no humbleness. It's all about her and the continuing need to assert control. Join me in part 11 as we continue the analysis of Chrissy Teigen and her recent behaviours to shed more light on narcissism in action.